excuse me. I
No, talk
won.
like that. I need you to say that. You did
No,
what?
no, I won overwhelmingly. I told you when I got to South Carolina, I won every single county. I won a larger share of the black vote than anybody has, including Barack. I increased the vote in Virginia overwhelmingly by 70%. Look, what people don't know about me is I come from a state that's the eighth largest black population in America, the eighth largest. I get 96% of that vote for the last 40 years. They're the folks, as they say it my way, brung me to the dance. That's how I get elected every single time. And everybody's shocked. I get overwhelming support from the black leadership, young and old. Every poll shows me way ahead. And it's not just, I hear this, oh yeah, old blacks are with Biden, but youngs aren't. Look at the polling data. Polling data, let's say it's off by half. Come on, man. Give me a little break here. This is where I come from. I got involved. I came home from college, and I had a job with a really fancy law firm out of law school. And my city is the only city in America occupied by the National Guard, the military, for 10 months when Dr. King was shot. And I had this fancy job, a kid coming from a lower middle income household. I quit and became a public defender. And I stayed in that community. I was the only guy when I was in high school. I had a job, a country club kind of job at a swimming pool. I was the only white employee in the East Side because I wanted to work in the projects, because I wanted to understand. That's how I got involved in politics. That's what this is all about for me, with respect. And so, when you take a look at my record, people talk about the crime bill. Crime bill didn't increase mass incarceration. Other things increased mass incarceration. And the reason why, if you go back and look, and I know you talk about it, you go back and take a look. That's why you had the vast majority of the black caucus at the time supporting the crime bill. Almost every major city black mayor supported the crime bill because blacks were getting killed overwhelmingly as well. And what happened when that crime bill? It had 4 or 5 really important things. It had the Violence Against Women Act. It said drug courts don't send anybody who has a drug problem to jail, send them to rehabilitation, to a drug court. It had in it, they had the assault weapons ban, getting rid of assault weapons, getting rid of the number of rounds you could have in a gun. It also had in it a whole range of other things, but had things I didn't like. Clinton wanted to put in a deal where, in fact, 3 strikes and you're out. I opposed that 3 strikes and you're out bill.
Oh man, hit that like button. Subscribe too, man. Do all that good stuff. So I seen the thumbnail earlier today, but I was like going through a lot of shit. I was real busy, and I said, "Oh, okay." Charlamagne got Joe Biden on the Breakfast Club, and the first thing I said to myself is, "What the fuck?" And people think I don't like Charlamagne. That's not the case. I just don't like how we're the only group of people that use celebrities to speak for us and our social issues. Compromised celebrities who make millions of dollars will never be able to relate to the everyday working man and woman who works check to check or whatever, middle class, whatever. Charlamagne's worth over $2 million. You think any policy that they put in office is going to affect him the same way it does me or you? You're bugging. That's my issue. Plus, when you watch this interview, there's certain times where it's borderline disrespectful, and Charlamagne should put his foot down and say, hold the fuck up. And he doesn't. He just kind of plays dumb and just lets Joe Biden go off. You listen to the tone in Joe Biden's voice, he's like he's talking down at Charlamagne and not having a civil conversation. And then, this the way, even the lingo Biden was using. Like, Biden was talking to him like he was on the block. Like on some street corner shit. Yeah, man, you know how it is, man. Yo, man, yada, yada. I haven't seen Joe Biden do an interview like that all fucking for the last 2 years or whatever since he's been running. And this was his first interview with black media, and it came off real ignorant. The way he talked to Charlamagne, he wouldn't talk to Anderson Cooper like that on CNN's platform or any other platform. It was a short interview. His wife interrupted it right around the time where the questions were starting to get interesting. I find that hilarious. About 18 minutes in, his wife Jill Biden was like, "We gotta go. I gotta do an interview. Who the fuck cares about you and what you gotta do?" We wanted to hear what he had to say. You know what I'm saying? And Charlamagne it was just a lot of questions. He didn't ask about reparations. He didn't ask about policy. And I think when you watch this interview, you see the arrogance of Joe Biden, the older white guy, and how a lot of older white Americans feel about black folks, where they think that we can't comprehend or think on an intellectual level as them, and they underestimate our intelligence. This guy, he didn't bring up any policy. All he basically brought up was his record and what he's done in the past, and how, oh, I ran for this state, I did this, black people been voting for me. And he basically was like, look, I know y'all are gonna vote for me anyway because Trump is evil, I'm a little less evil, you're gonna vote for me, period. I don't even have to give you a reason to vote for me. I'm like, wow. And it's crazy because when DL Hughley made his comments about Diddy, and Diddy saying that was irresponsible to hold out the black vote, and I had made a comment and it kind of blew up, and some of the Democrat supporters was like, I can't believe you gonna vote for Trump. I'm like, I didn't say I was voting for Trump. I'm just saying don't vote out of fear, vote out of logic. Now, if you're a Democrat, and I voted Democrat pretty much every time I voted, if you watch this Joe Biden so-called interview and you walk away from that not only not feeling disrespected but still willing to vote for him, you have no balls, you have no morality, you have no nothing. This was the most disrespectful. He was so arrogant and pompous in his attitude. And then when Charlamagne asks him, "What do you think? What was your whole take on COVID-19? What did you do?" He was like, "I was quarantining. I was in the house chilling, basically." I'm like, wow, this is the guy y'all vote for. You know what I mean? When he brings up the '94 crime bill, and I did a video on that, and I showed the clip in 1994, him talking about it, and he basically tried to brush it off like, oh, that had nothing to do with the state prisons. The state prisons were okay. It was the federal business. Yeah, it was federal prisons. He tried to brush it off and put it on that. You know, he doesn't want to take any responsibility for mass incarceration. He's a dickhead. And like I say, when you watch this interview, and it's real quick, it's not long, to me, it was almost more disrespectful than that Hillary Clinton shit when she brought up the Texas Pete hot sauce and was talking about Beyonce and all of that. Hillary was shucking and jiving for black votes. But Biden shit was so, he might as well have stuck his chest out, like, look down at us, like, I know you niggas is gonna vote for me, so let's just get it over with. I'm like, wow. Like, wow. Like, everything from the way he did, the mannerisms, the way he spoke. This was a very disrespectful interview. And like I say, Charlamagne is compromised. There was plenty of times where Charlamagne should have stepped in and said, hold the fuck up. Because really, Biden did most of the talking. And he talked about a bunch of nothing. He didn't really say much of anything. He was just trying to defend his record and trying to really prove to the naysayers like myself, who are starting to get some momentum, because some black folks are starting to open up their ear. And he's trying to dismiss us so he can continue to poison the brains of the sheep, the 85%. And believe it or not, that one of the people, like I said, some people are still like, oh, I'm still supporting them. I'm like, that is sad. If you watch this interview and you still walk away as a true blue Democrat and you're going to vote for Joey, I'm just going to pray for you. You know what I'm saying? God bless you niggas. This interview was out of fucking whack, man. And like I said, Charlamagne didn't really ask any tough questions about policy, reparations, anything. All Charlamagne talked about was the crime bill and COVID-19. And, Joe just brushed it off. Joe really doesn't, he underestimates anything. He doesn't think black people know any fucking thing about politics. And like I say, this is what's wrong with black politics and why for 50 years you've been voting for people who not only have a plan for you, they're basically telling you we don't have a plan for you, and we don't hold them to a standard. That's why I say the wrong person was interviewing Joe Biden. You should have had someone a little bit more educated, someone a lot less compromised that was going to ask the real questions. What is your fucking policy? You know why? He has none. He has no policy. He just wants that vote. And once he gets it, he's going to give you his ass to kiss. And my other thing is, for the Obama supporters, how the fuck can you still lividly worship him and support him despite the historical significance, the first black president? How the fuck can you rock with him after seeing the character of his vice president? Birds of a feather flock together. The people you hang with defined a lot of your character. And this Joe Biden has been like this forever. He didn't switch. He's not different from what he was during Obama's term. He's the same fucking snake he always was. And if this was Obama's man, to me, you got to look at Obama differently now. And I've already have anyway, but I don't see how you can look at Joe Biden and not see him as a somewhat of a reflection of Obama's character. You really align yourself with a snake like that? Come on, man. I don't get it, and I've seen it all. Like I say, my grandma loved her to death. Rest in, she used to have a picture on the wall. It said Martin ran so Obama could run, some shit like that. I was just like, oh God, God, God. But we, man, let me know what y'all think about this, man. This is getting out of hand. Like I say, I watched this, and I don't know what was more, disappointing. Charlamagne and his bullshit questions, and just sitting there looking stupid, and or Joe Biden just trying to use black slang. Like he was coming to him like he was talking to him in the street, like niggas was on the block trying to cop a bag. Come on, man. You know what it is, man. I'm like, why? Why are you talking to us like that? Why do you think because he's a hip hop radio DJ, you gotta talk like that? Come on, bro. You wouldn't talk to Don Lemon like that on CNN. You wouldn't talk to nobody like that. And this was the first and only interview he's done for black media, and it was the quickest one. Mind you that. Quickest one. It was in and out. I watched it and I said, damn, this shit almost over. It was really simple. And he says he wants to come up there again, and he wants to come up there when this shit is back to normal and speak. And I'm telling you, it's gonna kind of be like remember when Leo Cohen went to the Breakfast Club and they was on their best behavior. They bowed their heads down, didn't talk to Dame Dash the way they talked to. They didn't have the same energy for Leo they had for Dame Dash. They treated Leo like he was the god, put the red carpet out. I think you're gonna have something like that when Biden brings his ass up there. They really showing their true colors, and they're not just blue. It's a lot of shit out here, man. Y'all gotta relax, bro. Let me know what y'all think about that wild shit.